How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Blue Shifting, and welcome back to Chaoschild. I always want to keep on saying Chaos Head because we were doing that for a while, but Chaoschild. We're here and we're having fun. The more we learn about Takuru, the more we learn about how he's such a better execution of like the neat lifestyle, in my opinion, than Taku from the first game. First game, he just came across as super creepy. What's sad though is that there's probably people who are actually like that in real life. This Takuru, he feels a lot more like grounded and relatable, and yet he's also insufferable. Someone called it yesterday, he's like the definition of a Reddit mod, and I think you're right, except he doesn't have like permanently greasy fingers, and he's not like super like unable to stand up from his chair. If anything, he's super skinny. But you know that's Japan's version, right? Like overweight, being overweight is very uncommon in Japan. So being super skinny is kind of like the alternate version of that. So this whole interaction here with Kurusu. Oh, okay. I thought for a second she might be our sister, but I just realized like she has a different last name, so she can't be our sister. But she acts like a sister. She's like the fact that like she pulls us aside. We meet in the room because I guess so. She's student council president, but she's the vice president of the newspaper club. So we come to the newspaper room, and the first thing she's asking us is like, are you okay? You don't look well. It's like, so I feel like maybe it's meant to be like, well, we have our childhood best friend who's probably gonna have sister vibes too, but like she seems to have like the caring sister vibe, like reminds me of like the scolding sister, like an older sister. Yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, we'll find out. Like it's more, this is early episodes, so these episodes are going to be about, you know, tailoring the experience, getting us used to some of the characters and the setting itself. Obviously, we have some of the new gen killings, new gen, but I feel like it's going to be keeping things rather slow. So don't be surprised if we're spending the rest of this day kind of goofing around in school and doing whatnot. But I'm having fun. I sometimes like the slow parts as much as I like the fast parts. Like, I know not everyone would agree. Most people, I think, would end up just clicking quickly through these parts, but I love immersing myself in it, so I'm all for it. Anyway, enough babbling. Let's get started. Are you eating right? You look like you've lost some weight. Huh? Where was this coming from?
これからどんどん寒くなってくるでしょ。住んでるところの防寒対策とかちゃんとしてるんでしょうね。
Again, she's showing a lot of concern for us. But yeah, no, I totally feel that. It's cold. It's not cold in the house, but I'm still wearing a sweater because it's cold. Like, I was outside for like 20 minutes, and I've just been cold ever since. I'm also the kind of person where my hands and feet are all like almost always feel cold. They get icy really easily. Wearing the sweater is actually nice because it feels like I'm nice and toasty. Crap, she's in nag mode. Oh.
進路調査。結局就職で提出したんですって。進学で提出しなさいって言ったのに、勉強できないわけじゃないんだから。
That's true, but why are you so concerned about this?
確かに今からだと厳しいけど、受験なら私が面倒見るって、これも前に言ったでしょ?
She's very considerate, especially considering how like detached and like aloof we are of everyone else in the school. She seems very like invested in us.
調べたのというより話ってそれ
どうなのちゃんと食べてるの
食べてるよ大丈夫だって
That's right, Mom. I waved my hand to bring the conversation to a close. I didn't want this to end the way it used to, with a 6-hour lecture about how every aspect of my life was wrong, followed by a hard labor as my punishment. So she is kind of in mom mode, and it's ironic that you don't want to be lectured when that's all you seem to do to people. Kurusu looked like she still had a lot more to say, but a moment later.
あなた、先週の金曜日、学校サボったでしょ。
Well, she's in super mom mode, or like just like it's not mom mode. It's more like, it really is more like big sister, like just a really diligent big sister. Huh? Oh, so that's what this is all about.
サボったよ別に問題ないだろ
あるに決まってるでしょ。どこで何してたの？ストレージにアップした画像。あれを撮りに行ってたんじゃないの？
No, I got my friend to do that. Dang it! I figured that would be it. She was right. The pictures I taken from the karaoke box were from last Friday when I skipped school. Oh, okay, so she's got a good point. I started staking out the place earlier that morning and waited for the manager of the condo building to open the curtains.
苦労したんだ。でもおかげで警察以外まだ誰も見てない現場の画像を撮れた。
こういう事件ばかり追いかけるのはやめなさいって前から言ってるでしょ。
Yeah. I mean, she's got your best interests at heart here, buddy. Kurusu was the vice president of the newspaper club and had been opposed to Ito's and my journalistic ethos for a long time. We'd spend most of our time investigating crimes in Shibuya. That is really risky for kids. Stuff like the attacks on the homeless people that had been flooding the city ever since the earthquake. And urban legends about a company involved in the rebuilding who'd put up tons of security cameras all around the city. Crap. It's Norose, isn't it? And serial arson case where the culprit had never been caught. And now these strange deaths. For her part, Kurusu said the student paper shouldn't be investigating crimes. She wrote normal, sincere articles and made normal, sincere videos. The video about the Shibuya recovery effort had won a prize and had been mostly her work.
タクル、今回あなたおかしい。学校をサボってまで事件を追うなんて今までなかったでしょ。
Oh, interesting. I got the impression that he was one to skip school a lot, but like unlike our former Takuru, this guy, the Takuru, is more diligent about being in school and doing like responsible things. If this is the first time he skipped for something like voluntary, like I'm sure he missed for getting sick or whatnot. Interesting. So Norose is still probably active. And they helped with the reconstruction, which kind of makes sense. And I wonder if that's because the Noah 2 succeeded and failed, maybe? So maybe they're continuing to investigate. I'm also curious if we're going to see any of the people from the first game. I'm kind of if I'm honest, I'm listening to all the odd stories that they hear and repeat and wondering if there's going to be instances where some of that's us. Like, for instance, the acts of arson. Are they maybe someone trying to shut down those cameras that were set up everywhere? And if so, I could see that being something Taku might consider doing. I also could see Senna doing that as well. But again, this is like 6 years later. They're all like adults now. They might be scattered to the winds. That was true. But the reason why was obvious, right? I was lucky enough to have this huge mystery right in front of me.
今回に関しては学校をサボるのもしょうがないよ。
Oh.
なぜ？
だって新聞部を立ち上げてから初めて起こった渋谷での大きな事件じゃないか。こんな美味しいネタ。
No, you don't need that. Also, by the way, he's talking about like these big scoops and stuff. I did work in school newspaper. I never was good enough to get any awards or anything. I just was a member. Oh.
おいしい？
Oh. Oishi? That's an interesting word for that. Uh-oh. That face was bad news. That was scary. Ito was right next to me, so I grabbed him and held him tight.
おい、縦にすんなって。え、縦なの？てか副部長、何その顔？
He's like, wait, what? What?
おいしいですって？人が死んでるっていうのに？
She's got a point. I'm so far on Kurusu team.
違います。すいません。
Oh. So in the beginning, it talked about how like there's like a baby that was found. I wonder if that could be Takuru, the baby that was found miraculously, and then a girl who like whose mother dies and she had to talk to her dad in the shelter. I wonder if that's Kurusu. Stay away from me, because I can see her having a big reaction to like someone dying and people making big stories about it. I really can't handle this. Those footsteps are menacing.
すんなって。ちょっと待って、マジで縦なの？
Yeah, he is.
やばい、やばい。
That face was seriously bad news. The Empress was scary enough that she could send a demon running in terror. I'd never even met a demon either. That's just how scary she was. Oh.
もう一度言ってくれる？よりによってあなたが人が死んで美味しいですって？
Oh my gosh, she's terrifying. I like her. Oh, shoot. I need to find a way to stop her. Oh, and then I felt the wind rush by my ears. What is happening?
Uh.
No way. Really? Really? Okay, I have a question. Is this the way it is normally, or is this an edited version for Steam? Just curious. Holy crap. Really? And the worst possible time. The wind blew through the room. Kurisu didn't even have time to hold down her skirt. Who's that? My eyes were locked with Kurisu's as I heard the sound from the open window. I hadn't even realized it was open until then. There was a tennis court on the top of the special use building. That was probably the tennis team out there. She's wearing underwear, right? Like, she's wearing underwear? Because that would be insane if she weren't. I needed to say something. Was I supposed to tell her I hadn't seen anything?
副部長
She's gonna kill you. She looks like she's actually gonna have a heart attack. Just pretend that nothing happened.
白なん
Okay,
です
she
ね
was. Whew. Whew. Okay.
イメージ通りというか
You, by the way though, Ito, you are the worst. Idiot, are you trying to get yourself killed?
私の下着の色が何色か今関係あんのか
Yep, you're gonna die. I flinched at the sudden noise. I'm sorry. And then I realized I was sure that the sound of Kurisu kicking the wall, or maybe the sound of her murdering Ito, but I was wrong. It was coming from deeper inside the room. Whoa.
あの子は
She's playing that game!
全く
That girl. She's playing, well, crap, it's ESO, but it's like not Elder Scrolls Online. Even though it has a shocking resemblance to it, it existed before that. No, wait, this game came out in 2015, right? When did ESO come out? Like our ESO, because maybe they had to change the name. That would be really funny. Elder Scrolls Online. Also, have you guys seen the rumors? Like someone's like Xbox, who owns Bethesda, like dropped a tweet after like Bethesda had this whole announcement where they basically talked about how they're doing remaster of Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, which is cool. New Vegas, great game. I'll probably buy the remake of that. I might skip 3. 3's fine. And also, I kind of might skip Vegas if I really think about it, because I imagine that the remake, especially if they make changes in it, I'm gonna hate it. But anyway, so Elder Scrolls Online release date. Yeah, it came out in 2014. Okay, so a year before this game came out. So do they change the acronym to from ESO, or do they keep it because it is technically a different name and it's not a problem? I'm curious. But also, like, I don't know if they just are using assets, but she's playing like the same character basically as Taku from the first game, which is interesting. Like it's probably just another paladin. But yeah, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I just realized she's at school and playing a video game. That's bold. Also, games here got Striker. I don't know. Anyway.
和樹来てたの
Kazuki. Hey, Kazuki.
和樹そうかヘッドホン
Oh. Kurisu sighed and pulled off the headphones that Kazuki always wore.
円数2でイラついたからって壁を殴るのはやめなさい何度も言ってるでしょ
ESO2. Alright, they kept the name, kind of. Fictional, short for Empire Sweeper Online 2, the sequel to the MMORPG once boasted of the highest player count in all of Japan, Empire Sweeper Online. So actually, if it's the highest one, then I'm guessing it's supposed to be a spoof of, what was it, EverQuest? EverQuest was like a really big game, and then it had a sequel, EverQuest 2, and that one kind of was like, eh, and then World of Warcraft came out and just like toileted it. Like its predecessor, the game has been very well received. While the vast majority of users have moved on to ESO2, the inability to transfer character data from the first game has caused a small number of veteran users to remain on the original ESO. That's going to be our Taku, the Takumi. The game also takes place in medieval Europe-inspired fantasy world of Baselard, where countless adventures are just waiting to unfold. Base Lard. What a stupid name.
うん
Okay. Hi. You're also very cute. All the characters are very cute so far. What's with the tiny tie, though? Like, so tiny.
壁へこんでるじゃないもう
Oh, gosh. Kazuki Hana. The only first-year student in the newspaper club. Oh, so she's young. But forget her. This is my chance. Well, she's not super young. She's probably like a year or two younger than us. As Kurusu is rubbing the red marks on Kazuki's hand, I said,
とにかく僕は事件を追う。発見があったんだ。もしかしたら大きな手がかりになるかもしれない。
She's pissed. Kurusu glared at me for a moment.
おお、マジか。よし、すぐ準備する。聞かせてくれ。ぜひ聞かせてくれ。
Ito hurried over to the club's computer, desperate for any chance to escape his doom. I stared back at Kurusu for a moment and then...
PC 立ち上げてストレージの画像プリントアウトしてくれ。
了解だ。
That's gonna be expensive. You got ink for that? I guess the school might be paying for it, but the school's got ink for that? Or maybe that's where the budget goes for the newspaper club. Ito's voice was louder than it needed to be as he turned on the computer.
もう殴らないこといい
She's so stoic. Also, I'm noticing that several of the characters are very well endowed. That seems to be a new trend here. Maybe she took pity on poor Ito because she didn't say anything else, but she still crossed her arms and glared at us as she leaned against the wall. It looked like she was at least going to hear me out. Or maybe this was just her way of making sure I didn't escape.
お前、後で飯をおごれよ。
Yeah, maybe. I did try to use you as a human shield.
なんでやだよ。
盾にしやがって気まずすぎんだろ。
Hey.
こんなもん10-0の巻き込まれ事故じゃねえか。
Technically no, the window was not my fault.
それは謝るけど、でも今回はまだマシだ。手が出なかったから。
え？手って副部長？
I nodded. Kurusu was the girl that everyone looked up to, but she was actually very short-tempered. It would take me more than 5 fingers, but less than 10 to count the number of times she slapped me hard. Oh, fetch! More than 5, less than 10. When I told him that.
マジか。そんな、なんていうか、ありなの？そんなことする女子高生本当にいんのか？ヒスか S っ子手前じゃん。
Okay, dominatrix? Really? Dominatrix is about a pleasurable experience, not punishment. It's so weird that people are having a juxtaposition of those because that's not even remotely close. Though Crazy B, you gotta see I gotta see these definitions here. So dominatrix, term for a woman with sadistic personality who enjoys inflicting physical or psychological pain on others, extremely dangerous. No, see, that's too broad a term. I'm guessing that might be a mistranslation or something, or maybe it is properly, but the idea is it's one who uses pain, psychological and physical pain in with restraint to incur to produce an aroused state. That's what that is. And it's a thing people are for. Not me, but it's a thing. And then Crazy B, term used to refer to a short-tempered woman who can't control her emotions. I mean, that's probably accurate, but doesn't mean necessarily it's a bad thing. Here's the thing though, it is assault. Slapping people, just because a girl is hitting somebody doesn't mean it's okay. I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and think Taku probably deserved it.
ねえあなた方陰口は聞こえないように言えって言われないの
The nearly crazy bee didn't even bother looking at us as she spoke.
いや、そのセリフを言ったことはあるんだけどね。それもついさっき教室で。
そう
She's terrifying. And then she fell silent. So that was scary as all. I agree. She it's yes ma'am. Felt like if I moved she'd kill me.
おごりだ。決定だ。大盛りにデザートだ。 異論は認めん。
ゴーゴーちゃん、今のは。
Actually, it was 100% Ito's fault for not keeping his mouth shut.
なあ、
What?
見たか？見たよな。
No comment. I plead the fifth.
見てないよ。
That was a lie. Here we go again. I see it. They were white. I must contain my rage. I glanced at Kurusu out of the corner of my eye. I guess that really was just what you'd expect. Still, I'd only gotten a glimpse. It was entirely possible I'd been mistaken. If I burned the image into my brain now, maybe the next time something like this happened, I'd be able to react more quickly. So I prayed for more good luck. That's good luck? If it ever did happen again, I swore I would react as a right-sider should. A right-sider shouldn't panic over something as insignificant as seeing a girl's underwear. Actually, it's very true. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, sure, especially when you've had such little experience, it's exciting and all that, but really, it's like, people are people. Bodies are bodies, underwear is underwear. Even if you accidentally see someone naked, it's like, they're just a person. If that's enough for you to objectify them, that says a lot more about you than anything else. And also, it's like, I don't know, there's a huge difference between like accidentally seeing somebody in a vulnerable position and it being like sexually charged. Now, granted, if there's already a little sexual tension between her and us, like say the characters have a little bit of a crush, or at least find her really attractive, that's a different story, which I would agree is probably what's going on here. But push comes to shove, it's still just clothing that's keeping her like modest. Just very unfortunate. Also, the school should be the one that's also considered to be 20% at fault for having uniforms that are apparently so easily to disrupt. In a situation like that, it was critical you stay calm. When she heard Ito turn on the printer, Kazuki trotted over like she usually did. All right. Every time we have a first time with a girl, that didn't come out right. Online gaming addicts had the best computer skills of anyone in the club. We're gonna start with a positive one. Whenever she was around, it was her job to run searches and organize information on the PC, but...
Kazuki, 手伝わなくていい。この件については、部の活動と認めてないから。
Oh, interesting. Kazuki gave us a questioning look.
そうなんだ。
Man, you have the spine of a wet noodle. Kazuki just said, like she always did, and walked away. Trigger. Uh-oh.
ほら、Kazuki、まだ手赤いわ。
Oh
も
no.
っとさすってあげるから。
I didn't expect it was gonna go down this journey. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, not uh-oh, but more of like, unexpected. Kazuki obediently walked toward Kurusu. What the fetch is this? Kurusu took her hand and rubbed them gently, like a mother would.
痛かったでしょ？どうしてそんな無茶をするの？
Alright, Taku, you are an odd one. It's interesting this is your default delusion. Holy
どう？
crap.
まだ痛い？痛いの飛んでけ
Oh my gosh. You know, I can't use this as a thumbnail because I feel like it would be misleading, and I could actually. I feel like it's a little too on the nose though. Maybe not, but I could appreciate fine art. I like the lilies. That's a subtle touch that's not so subtle.
カズキ、どうしたの？急に抱きついて。
Uh-huh.
もう、甘えん坊さんなんだから。あ、もしかして私がしばらく部室に来られなかったから寂しかったの？
She's gonna be watching in awe in this delusion. She's literally not said a single word, has she?
じゃあわからないわ。ほら、私の目を見て、ちゃんと答えて。
Okay.
寂しかったんでしょ？違う？照れちゃって、可愛いのね。
It's very cute. This is very cute.
ごめんね。寂しい思いさせて。でも安心して。今日はずっと和樹と一緒にいてあげるから。
It's getting hot in here.
私もあなたと一緒にいられて嬉しい。手の痛みはもう引いた？まだ？じゃあとっておきのおまじない。
A special charm. Was it licking her? It is. It's a kiss, at least. Kazuki watched with a look of ecstasy in her eyes as Kurusu softly kissed her fingers. I felt like I was seeing something I shouldn't, so I looked away.
和樹の指、細くてとっても綺麗。
Okay.
おい、何ぼんやりしてるんだ？
Shatter.
宮代？
Nothing. It was nothing.
いや、別に。
I chased the stupid idea out of my mind. Kurusu was nice to everyone, even girls like Kazuki couldn't communicate with who couldn't communicate with others. So Kurusu is nice until you make her angry, and then she's vindictive. Of course, in reality, Kurusu and Kazuki had never done anything like that, and they never would. Kazuki put her headphones on and went back to the corner of the room. She started slamming keys again. I never did know how to talk to her. Actually, it felt like I'd been forever since I'd even spoken to her. If you could call that a conversation, that is. She'd been part of the newspaper club for 6 months, and all I knew about her was that she liked games, knew a lot about computers, and hated talking. In the end, Uto printed out pictures, so I took them and went to the front of the bulletin board before Kurusu changed her mind. If Kurusu were gonna listen, it's probably better to start at the beginning. Oh, this is kind of cool. And we can actually like trace places on the map. She didn't seem interested in the cases, but if I ignored her, it made her even madder. Even using Uto as a shield wouldn't have been enough to save me. So he's probably gonna make it. Are we gonna do like strings and like the classic like conspiracy stuff, which is very cool.
今僕らが追っている事件は2つ。
Yeah.
まず1つ目は今月の7日に起きたニコニア生放送公開自殺事件。通称こっちみんな。場所はここ、神南。
In Jinan.
事件の内容は名前の通りニコニア動画で生放送していた男が放送中に突然自殺した。
Yeah.
厳密に言うと完全に自殺と決まったわけじゃないんだけど、死んだ時の状況からそう言われてる。
Yeah, but it would be like the most suspicious suicide ever because, like, not very many people will casually like devour their own flesh on camera without seeming to know what they're doing.
名前は大谷優馬、21歳。俺氏、未来が見えてしまう件についてっていう預言者もどきみたいな放送を定期的にやって結構アクセス数を稼いでいたニア生主。
21. That's insane. He looked like he was 40.
で、その状況だけど、まず放送中に大谷氏はコメントを設ける時間をとって一旦カメラ前から姿を消す。その後ドアがノックされて誰かが来たらしい音をわずかだけどマイクが拾ってる。
Okay.
聞き取れないけど何かを話す声も。
Okay, so like that is actually significant. I did think that they were gonna get in and out without like leaving any evidence, but that does imply that there's some evidence.
そしてカメラ前に戻ってくると右腕が半分なくなってた。細かく切断されて自分が持ってきた皿の上に乗ってたんだ。
That's so crazy.
そしてその指を自分で食べた。まるで痛みを感じていない素振りで。
Yeah, no, it's freaking brutal. Kurusu's expression changed a little. She probably hadn't known that. The suicide had been big news even on TV. She probably hadn't seen it there, but the details had been so horrific the news didn't mention them. But those details could be found anywhere on the internet. It was only a matter of time before someone started putting it all together. The video itself had even started to get around. Ugh. Can you imagine? I wouldn't want to watch that.
そして少し経ってからいきなり苦しみ出して死亡した。見ていた人は事件として発覚するまでいたずらか何かだと思っていたみたい。
出血性ショック死な。警察の発表でもそうなってたし、混沌するまでの時間を考えても間違いない。
Yeah. Ito added. Ito knew more about this stuff than I did. He was a fan of bizarre murders, and he'd read 10 times as many killers' diaries and non-fiction crime books as I had.
何らかの理由で精神が錯乱した上での自殺って見解が濃厚らしいけど、警察は自殺の直前に部屋を訪ねてきた誰かを探しているらしい。
Yeah, there's definitely something about that.
もしかしたら自殺幇助や自殺教唆の疑いがあるんじゃないかって。
Yeah. In Japan, if you saw someone trying to kill themselves and didn't intervene, it wasn't a crime unless the police could prove you wanted them to die. That's interesting, actually. Because I actually think in America, if you don't intervene, there is a crime. I don't know if it's I think it's a misdemeanor, but it's like endangerment or willful endangerment because you see someone in a dangerous situation and you don't help them. There's actually, I think it has a different term. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I do think you can actually be in trouble if you were in a position to call for help or to try to help somebody in danger and you choose not to. There is and they can prove that you specifically chose not to help them. Now granted, I think that's the idea is like the police have to prove in Japan that you wanted them to die. I don't think it has to be proven you wanted them to die because it'd be seen that if you didn't take any actions to help, you basically makes you an accomplice to the crime itself. But aiding in a suicide or encouraging someone to commit suicide was illegal. That meant that the police were probably looking for whomever met Otani just before his death. Yeah, I'm guessing there's a lot of personal stuff for you in this. Kurusu was silent, but she was looking at the board and seemed to be listening. It seemed safe, so on to the next case. This is the one we don't have any details of.
2つ目は19日に起きた事件。死体の状況から音漏れ炭っていう通称がついてる。
That one's sad.
場所はここ、深セン。
Shinsen, right there.
名前は高柳桃音、20歳。ニコニアの歌ってみたの歌い手で、最近ネットで有名になってきてるアニメソングのコピーバンドのボーカル。
Again, so Nikonian seems to be a commonality between the two of them, and that's disturbing. But yeah, I want to kind of read this card of it because we don't have the details. It was time of death 10 to 11 p.m. on the 19th. Sidewalk, cause of death, blood loss from stomach wound. Okay, I guess we'll have him talk about it, but died from blood loss after having a speaker implanted in her stomach. It's believed that after she performed with her band at a concert hall, someone sliced open her stomach and inserted a speaker inside the wound. Before she died, she traveled along the roads beside the highway with the speaker inside her, then sat down the sidewalk. The speaker inside her stomach continued to play a recording which said, "Stay and listen for a while." A fan of hers said, "She had something special that just drew you in. It was a shame." Dang, that's horrifying.
復興祭のステージで歌うことも決まってた。バンドの派手な衣装を着たまま一人でストリートライブもしていて、晴れの日は毎日決まった場所、決まった時間で演奏していたらしい。その日はいつもの場所にかなり遅刻して現れてライブを始めた。だけど何か様子がおかしかった。声が小さくていつもの感じじゃなかったらしい。そして結局ライブの最中に死亡した。こっちも失血死。ライブを始める前からお腹を刺傷していたんだ。
That's insane, because that's implying that she went to where she performed. I thought she was just sitting outside the road, but she went to that concert that she didn't want to go to and wasn't singing. It was the speaker, I'm guessing. Yeah, Kurusu, I'm with you there.
妙なのがやっぱり遺体の状況で、 伊藤、再生してくれ。
The video? I don't know about that.
おう。
Ito tapped a few keys on the computer's keyboard. And a moment later...
死んでるって。マジで死んでるって。救急車呼べって。
Oh, that's creepy. Kurusu looked confused when she heard the sound. Evidently, she wasn't able to make it out.
ああ、そっちじゃなくて、渋谷ニュースが音声いじってアップしてくれた方。
ああ、そっちだよな。死んでるって。マジで死んでるって。救急車呼べって。
ありがとう。ゆっくりしていってね。ありがとう。ゆっくりしていってね。ありがとう。ゆっくりしていって。
Oh, that's horrifying. Oh, no. Her expression changed. She must have been able to hear it this time.
ありがとう。ゆっくりしていってね。常連のお客さんによれば、いつも彼女はこの一言からストリートライブを始めていたんだって。
Take it easy. A phrase often used to start of videos in Nikkei-nyan. It originates from a piece of ASC2 art. ASC2 art. Interesting. Oh, and then also flagged addict here. Primarily used to refer to someone in uncontrollable addiction of a certain substance, usually an illegal drug. However, it has recently come to describe people who spend so much time on a particular hobby that it interferes with their daily lives. I try to keep in moderation. Well, actually, I have to say, honestly, genuinely, I'm actually okay at not being an addict about YouTube. I love making content, and I do put aside a lot of my own free time to make this happen. So I sacrifice a lot of my free time to do YouTube, but, as you know, whenever things come up in my life, I will just postpone a video if I feel like I don't have to. I do understand that content takes the back seat to like life. So when I go on vacations, I don't try and worry about having too big of a backlog. If I just am not feeling it that week, if I'm sick, or if I just don't have the time or the energy, I'll just be like, we're just not having a video this week. So I don't think I'm an addict to making content, but some examples include video games addicts and Twippo addicts. Twippo, I don't know what that is. Oh, that's like the Twitter. Man, can you imagine someone being on X or Twitter so much that they literally interferes with their life? Or I guess I could see that being the case where like the type of people who, whenever something happens, they have to take a picture out or like make a post. Like they can't just enjoy a moment or share it with friends or family. Everything has to be posted to social media. That's what I would call that an addict for that.
ニアドユーザーだからな。なんでも歌ってみたの歌い手の中では彼女のライブが一番だって最近評判だったらしいぞ。
Dang. Kurusu seemed to be ignoring me, Nuto. She was staring at the computer screen that was the source of the sound.
今のは。
悲鳴は死体を発見したお客さんたちのもの。動画で撮っていた人がいたんだ。で、今のは高柳さん自身の声で。お腹に埋め込まれていた小型のスピーカーから聞こえてきたんだ。
That's so gross. Kurusu seemed confused, so Ito interjected.
つまり、その日のライブは最初から録音されたものだったんだよ。
後で発見された証拠によると、彼女はコンビニで売ってるカッターで自分で自分の腹を裂いて、Bluetooth のスピーカーを埋め込んだらしい。
Evidence says she did that? That's, again, it's like a suicide thing. That's really insane. A type of Bluetooth is a type of wireless communication standard used by digital devices, allowed for communication via radio waves in range between a few meters and a few dozen meters. Often used for wireless mice and keyboards for computers on mobile devices, such as this mouse here. But dang, again, it's like, I guess that's not too surprising because a lot of the new gen deaths were like apparent suicides. That was a common thread. It still
ガム
shocks
テ
me
ープで
though.
止血とも呼べない適当な応急処置をした後、着ている服と衣装でその傷を隠して
Oh
ライ
man.
ブを始めたんだ。
Dang.
最初は録音した自分の声に合わせてギターを弾いていたらしいんだけど、 途中からは歌声だけになった。
And collapsed.
それからはうつむきっぱなしだったみたいだから、その時にはすでに死亡してたんじゃないかな。だけどお客さんは様子がおかしいとは思いながらも気づかずにずっと聴き続けて。
Oh man.
彼女のポケットに入れていた携帯音楽プレイヤーが傷から流れた血液で壊れたのか、最初からそういう設定だったのか。とにかくさっきの音声トラックがリピート再生されるまで死んでいるとは気づかなかった。
That's insane. That's horrid. That's horrifying. Kurusu's face was a mixture of confusion and discomfort. Of course it was. She'd never heard something like this before. I couldn't hold back my excitement.
な、すごいだろ。
No, that's definitely not the word. Horrifying. Troubling. She's probably gonna puke. Instead of agreeing, Kurusu's brow furrowed. She probably didn't realize it, but she'd wrapped her arms around herself. What was wrong? Was that a little too creepy?
で、ここまでは単にこれまでの事件の整理だろ。発見ってのは？
Oh, yeah, he's right. I used the computer to print out a series of pictures.
当然だけど両方とも事件の目的はわからない。今のところ唯一の不審人物である大谷氏の部屋を訪ねてきた人間が何者で何を考えて何を話したのかも見当がつかない。
It's interesting, he's made a conjuncture that they're tied together. Like, they are odd, for sure. But the first one at least had some tell, the fact that they had a knock and they could hear voices although they couldn't be made out. There's nothing to tie like them to that. Also, by the way, this box I'm seeing in the back of the wall, no spring water. Interesting. But it's just odd that he's so confident he can make that link. Because I'm guessing, like, again, the media is making it sound like they were suicides, you know, in the end. So why is he so sure that a killer is involved?
でも僕はこの妙な事件はまだ続くと思う。被害者の共通点からの推測でしかないけどね。
The broadcasting site?
は？マジか？
Ito left out of his chair in shock. Well, I couldn't blame him.
共通点に関しては散々話し合ったろ。分かったのは渋谷に住んでることと宮堂のユーザーだったこと。
Yeah, exactly.
あとはまあ2人ともある程度の知名度があって自殺した状況が異常だってことくらいか。でもそんなもんじゃそれ以上のことは何も見えてこなかっただろ
う。気づかないか？別の共通点。
I pointed towards the bulletin board as I spoke. Ito looked really annoyed.
偉そうにしよってからに。
I get it, yeah.
そもそもこっちの気を引くようにプリントアウトしてるやつはなんだ？
He's loving it. One of the best parts of finding something like this was seeing the angry look on his face. Well, it was only yesterday I found it myself, though.
じらさなくていいから。何を見つけたの？
Oh, she's on board, at least like wanting to know. That's good. Kurusu beckoned me for me to go on. No matter what she said, after hearing all this, she probably wanted to know what came next. Oh, it finished printing. Oh, hello. I like her design. Purple eyes, blue hair, pretty cool. I'm interested to see if she actually will say any words. Glasses are cute too. Kazuki suddenly stood in front of me. She offered me the printed pages without a word.
ありがとう。
She then offered me something else. A lollipop? Aw, that's really sweet. Thank you.
くれるの？
She nodded.
どうも。
Thank you, yeah. Aw, she's so sweet. Kazuki seemed to be communicating in her own unique way. She walked over to the bulletin board. Maybe that's her way of saying, like, good luck, good job, you've done good work. And tapped the data printouts with the two cases with her finger.
和樹どうした？
She did it again. I saw the part she was pointing at and nodded.
そう。日付だよ。7日、19日。
7th and the 19th. Okay. 12 days. Is that what it is? It's a 12-day gap, maybe?
共通点。9月7日と9月19日。渋谷で発生した異常な事件。
Oh my gosh, they are new gen
わかるだろ。
killings. It's the new gen killings repeated, the dates. If that's accurate, they'll predict when the next one is. And if they get that pattern, then they'll, oh my gosh, that's actually could be a thing. Holy crap. I kept looking at Ito. Usually he'd be the one to pick up on this. A second later. Oh. He froze. He must have figured it out.
うん。猟奇マニアのお前ならわかるだろ。
I pinned the images I printed on the bulletin board map. Wait. Hang on. And the locations. Where's that building that the dive happened on? Because first was the dive. What was the second one? The second one wasn't the crucifixion, was it? Because that was in an alleyway. Because I'm thinking like the location's similar too. That would be really interesting. Because then that might give us a good idea of like a location to go for as well.
9月7日、集団ダイブ。
Group dive in this building. Okay, so different location but the same date. Okay.
9月19日、妊娠男。
Man-child. That was the second one. Oh, that was horrible. Oh my gosh, though. Group dive. Okay, not as similar, but the man-child. Like, the speaker in her stomach and the man-child was a baby in his stomach. Like, they... Again, that is a really odd parallel.
9月29日、
Crucifixion.
10月10日、ヴァンパイア。
October 10th. So these are the dates. So the next one would happen on the 29th. What's the date today? Can I see, like, what date in the game is it? Wait, maybe if I save. Okay, go load. No, that's just today's date. No, it's not today's date. At least no, that is today's date ish. It is today's date. Okay. October 10th, Vampire.
10月23日、
23rd.
ノータリン。
Oh wait, and let's see like let's, I want to see what the gaps are. So 7th and 9th, 19th, and then it's 10 days, and then the 29th, 30th, first, then 11 days.
10月28日、うまい手。
28th finger food. They're getting faster and
11月
faster.
4日、
Number
ド
4th,
キュンパズル。
DQ and puzzle.
ニュージェネレーションの狂気。
Yep, there we go. We know what it is, but we'll read it. The name of a series of brutal killings that took place in Shibuya between September 7th and November 4th of 2009. The method of murder were bizarre and entirely unorthodox, which led to its cult popularity among youth of Shibuya. As a result, the mass media dubbed it the New Generation Madness. A total of 14 people died in all 7 incidents. The dates and names of the given murders are 9th, 7th, group dive, Okay, so the 7th through the 19th is 12 days. 19th to the 29th is 10 days. 29th through the 10th is 11 days. 10th through the 23rd is 13 days. 23rd to 28th is 5 days. And 28th to the 4th, I think, is another 7. Or 7 or 8 days. Because I think there's 31 days in October. So 29, 30, 31, 32, 30, 29, 30, 31. And then 4. So 7. Yes, so 7. So I guess I was wondering if there's going to be like like the staggering of the murders, but like meaning something, but no. But we might be able to predict that the third event is going to happen on the 29th. It gives us 10 days. Yep. 6 years ago in 2009, a series of strange deaths occurred just before the earthquake that struck Shibuya on November 6th. They became famous as the words left by the killers, "Whose eyes are those eyes?" They called the killings the New Generation Madness. The murders took place in Shibuya, but the whole country took an interest in them. At the time, I was in 6th grade. Just like a lot of people, I followed every new development on the internet.
日付が6年前の事件とぴったり一致してるんだ。事件も自殺っぽいっていう内容はともかく猟奇的だという点で同じ。
Yeah, that's a good job, Taki. That's a really good thing to notice.
偶然でしょ。
No. 2 may be a coincidence, but I really don't think so. And if the third one happens on the same date, like what was it like? Once is interesting, 2 is a coincidence, but 3 times, that's a pattern. She seemed to be trying to force the words out of her throat. Kurusu is acting a little strange. Well, yeah, she's probably thinking too, the logical conclusion of this is like, what did the New Gen killings what were they preceding? You had the killing, and then Shibuya exploded. Like, you can't help, I guess, like, they called it an earthquake, but if you're convinced it wasn't natural, because it wasn't, that's the next thing I'm worried about too. Her arms clutched her torso even tighter. She's gonna puke.
副部長
She's gonna puke. Maybe it was because of all the creepy pictures she'd seen. Kurusu was clearly shaking. She tried her best to stop it as she spoke.
何でも関連づけて大きくしたがるのはやめなさい。2つ、たまたま一致しただけでしょ。
I don't know.
偶然かそうではないかはすぐにわかるよ。ニュージェネ第3の事件が起こったのは9月29日。つまり、今日だ。
Oh, fetch! I didn't know. All we have to do is wait.
もし今日、渋谷でまた妙な事件が起こったら、その時は間違いない。偶然が3つ続くなんて放っておける要素じゃないだろ。
A phone rang, of course. It was mine. Interesting.
はい。もしもし。
Uh-oh.
いや、事故？とにかく、タクの言う通りのことが起きたかもしれないんだよ。
Holy crap. It might have already happened. I could feel my heart starting to race as she spoke. It was a Love Hotel area in Donganzaka, 5 minutes from Shibuya Station. A few days ago, there'd been some kind of suspicious fire here, and I had come to do some reporting. The suspicious fire, yeah. So I think whoever's setting the fires, I think is trying to fight the company. So, like I don't know, that seems Senna-coded, right? The place is supposedly a love hotel spot, but even at night when businesses should have been booming, it wasn't particularly exciting. During the day when the lights were turned off, you don't look up at the signs, it wouldn't look very different for your average neighborhood. One of the buildings was a 4-story love hotel with a terrible name, Fairies Dance. It faced a narrow street and there was no parking lot, so the police cars were parked at a meter nearby.
こっち
Sadako was standing in front of the general store some distance away. She was supposed to be spending the day taking photos of the area around the last 2 crime scenes. Wait, is she not...
何があった？
Is she skipping school too?
わかんない。さっきゲンさんと107の近くですれ違った時に、ここで何かが起きたって教えてくれたの。
相変わらずあの人はよくわかんないな。どこから仕入れてるんだ、そんな情報。便利だからいいけど。
I wonder if that's the first Taku. Because what does she call him? Gen-san? That could be anything, but I can see that being Taku being kind of doing what Senna's dad did eventually, where he just couldn't interface with society, but he's still trying to fight the people. Maybe he's setting the fires. Gen-san was a homeless man I knew who had sold me all the books in my secret stash. He was a drunk who claimed to be of noble blood, but the stories he told me about his past didn't sound very noble at all. The guy was a weirdo, but since he spent all his time wandering around Shibuya, he knew a surprising amount of info about it.
でも、大事なのは間違いないっぽいよ。さっき中に入ってった警察の人が応援呼んでたみたいだし。
You're not going to try and go in there, are you? I see. I decided to start by taking video of the outside of the hotel with my smartphone.
お前、こういう時だけ足早いな。
I'm impressed you're here, Kurusu. I'd left the 2 of them in the club room, and they'd only just now caught up with me. They must have ran here. Ito especially was breathing very heavily.
なんだ。クルスも来たのか。
Kurusu had decided not to come. Kazuki had decided not to come, evidently. Of course not. I'd never seen her outside, except when we were going to and from school.
で、事件か？
I told Ito what I'd heard from Setaka. He seemed really disappointed.
なんだそりゃ。単に血は喧嘩かなんかで騒ぎになったんじゃねえの？
それだけでわざわざ応援なんて呼ぶか？それに、今日は29日なんだぞ。
He's like, I mean, it's worth at least looking.
だから、気にしすぎだって言ってるでしょ？
Kurusu seemed upset. She glanced at the love hotels around her in disgust.
早く学校に戻りましょう。学生がいていい場所じゃない。監視カメラに映っているのが問題になったらどうするの？
She probably didn't want to get involved. Ever since the rebuilding, there had been more cameras around Shibuya than ever before, even around the love hotels. In our school uniforms, we probably stood out. I wonder if that's intentional, actually. Could have seen a motion for us to go home. And then...
Huh?
I saw something in the viewfinder. Oh. On the third floor of the Love Hotel, the windows of one of the rooms facing the alley were open. The window must have been open all the way because the curtains were fluttering out. I don't think that's curtains. We saw a lady in a dress that looked like that.
なあ、普通こういうとこって窓開いてないもんだよな。
I asked Ito as I looked up at them.
ん？まあそうなんじゃねえの？使ったことなんかねえからわかんねえけど。
Ito followed my gaze and saw it for himself. I felt suspicious. I'd never been to a love hotel either, so I didn't know, but normally you'd keep the windows shut, right? You wouldn't want people seeing or hearing what you were doing.
Huh?
And then suddenly I heard a sound from somewhere. It was a calming sound of a simple melody. I took a closer listen. Was it a music box?
Oh.
It definitely was. It was coming from the room with the open windows. It sounded like it was inviting us in. What was going on? I looked around. The building across from the open window was another love hotel, but it had no windows on that side. Couldn't look into the building like I'd done with the karaoke box last week. And I certainly couldn't climb my way up.
ちょっと、何考えてるの？
I must have had a pensive look on my face because Kurusu had turned to me curiously.
バレないように中に入れれば。
Yeah, she's like, are you freaking serious? I looked over the parking meter. There's still only one car. Okay.
裏口ぐらいどっかにあるだろうから、応援の警察が来る前に済まそう。伊藤、そっち側から回ってくれ。
I understand his gumption, but that's also going to contaminate a crime scene. That could be a bad thing to do.
おう。
僕はこっち側から。
Oh.
ちょっとタクル、こっち見なさい。
I began to go around the building, not waiting for Ito's answer, but Kurusu grabbed my arm.
ダメ。こんなの部活の範疇じゃないでしょ。私の言うことが聞けないの？
She's got a point, man. Crap. She was just a millimeter short of making that face again.
しかもここ、いかがわしいホテルでしょう。それに、もし妙なことに巻き込まれたらどうするの？
I knew all that, but I didn't want to give up. This might be my chance to get a real scoop.
停学にでもなったらどうするつもり？姉として弟を危険な目に遭わせるわけにはいかないの。
She calls herself our big sister. How's that work?
弟というか、家族でも何でもないじゃんか。僕たちは。
Oh, was he adopted into her family, maybe? Fetch me. Kurusu immediately grabbed me by the collar with incredible force and brought her face so close to mine our foreheads touched. Oh, dude, why would you say that? I couldn't tell. I could tell that her cheeks were flushed. There was a small wordless growl from deep within her throat, and her arms were shaking a little as she held me. What was she trying to say? No, I knew exactly what she was trying to say. But Kurusu didn't say it. Kurusu was the sort of awful person who'd bring up the distant past to try and win an argument. And anyway, that was over. That was all over now. It wasn't either of our faults.
Yame!
Wait, what? Why? Whoa, what? What? What is happening? Suddenly, Serika ran over and tackled Kurusu. The momentum slammed both of them into the ground. What the fetch is happening?
ちょっとセリカ、何して。喧嘩はダメだよ、のんちゃん、タク。5人でみんな仲良くが新聞部のモットーでしょ?
Okay, I don't think that was fighting though. That was like us having a tender moment. No, that was never our motto.
しんちゃんも止めなきゃダメじゃん。
いや、つうか、どこ行ってたんだ？
ああ、そうだ。喧嘩してる場合じゃないんだよ、タク。
You are reminding me of Remy a lot. But not so much you're intervening in like delusions. This time I felt like you were intervening in a sad moment. Like you were trying to make us feel happy. She suddenly hopped up like a cheap toy.
裏のドア開いてる。
What? Really?
喉乾いて自販機なくてホテルの中ならあるだろうと思って裏のドア見つけて開けて。
Oh my god, why?
中入って自販機やってさすが妖精のダンスじゃんやるじゃんって思って買って一気飲みしてたらあれって。
What?
んだよそれ。
Are you serious?
お前、いつも後先考えずに突き進むよな。
タク、どうするの？
I guess we're gonna go? I couldn't tell. I could tell that Kurusu was glaring at me. But she didn't say anything. She couldn't say anything.
二人で行こう。カップルの方が、いざという時にごまかしが効くかもしれない。
Dude, you think for a second you could actually pull off that lie?
Okay.
And I'm glad she's all for it, though. As soon as the words were out of my mouth, Serika beckoned me to follow her. I did. Interesting. So she is a sister. That's so interesting. She had sister energy from the get-go. Like it wasn't like it was a hard call, but I called it. That's crazy. But come on, dude. So I'm guessing, so he was adopted into their family. He had a bit of a falling out because he's different, and he says he's like, hey, you're not my real family. They give him his own space, living in like a little mobile home, but she's really worried about him because she's just like our Nanami. Aww. She deserves better than this. I didn't say it, but in my heart I apologized to Kurusu as I went. You say it! Of course she couldn't hear me, so she didn't say anything.
階段向こうなんだけどな。
I'm trying to decide if we wait. Yeah, okay. I think we're gonna wait. I'm gonna stop here. It's a really good place to stop, but it's also a painful place to stop, but we'll save the investigation of Fairy's dance for next time. Thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, this episode was good. This game is firing on so many cylinders already. It took so long for the first game to catch me. For Chaos Head to actually catch my attention, I think we had to get through partway through chapter 2 to really feel like I was getting immersed. Now, this is the third episode, and I'm so excited to see what this is gonna go. And the connections it's already drawing, and you know what? I'm kind of happy that I'm playing this shortly after playing Chaos Ahead, because having all that really fresh in my mind is really helpful. But that's really cool. Dang, I'm already having a lot of fun with it. And the characters are already very intriguing and interesting. I can't say like there's any one of them that have like stuck out to me as like, oh, I really like this character. I think they all have a lot of really interesting like designs and personalities so far. Very, very impressive to be able to fire it off like that, because I remember in Chaos Head, I was only really impressed with Senna as a character right off the bat. Kazupi really warmed up to me towards the end, but that was because we actually could talk to her. But like, still, these characters are very interesting. Very, very well done. And overall, I'm just really excited to see where this goes and see what's going to happen. So yeah, I'm sold. I'm very, very on board with this. So thank you so much. I'm grateful that you voted for this. And I know the vote was controversial, and I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about all that. But ultimately, I'm glad to be playing this game. I'm having a good time. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support, and hopefully you continue to support me so we can continue to enjoy these great stories together. I keep wanting to make them, so you give me the space, give me some of your time. It means the world to me because I want to enjoy it with you. So thank you. Especially to the patrons and members, thank you so much for your patience and your wonderful attention. I've got a nice surprise coming up. I should have time this week to formally present it to you. So I have something kind of fun to share. And a future project that might mean something for the rest of the channel someday, but I need to make a lot more progress on it before I'm ready for that. But I'm getting better, actually being consistent with it. So I have a good feeling that if I dedicate to it, and especially if I have you guys holding me accountable, we could have something really fun for the channel in the future. And as a community, really. Anyway, enough foreshadowing about that. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you have a great day. Until next video, watching me up and see me in next. I'll see you there.